I've just loaded in a world map so big it made my computer cry. But that's perfect, because we're gonna let humanity thrive here for thousands of years before we mess with them, so it's good to give them an adequate playground. Naturally, keeping to historical accuracy, we're gonna spawn them in the most exciting place on the planet. They're gonna love it here. They've got cows and chickens and berries, and these 20 morons are starting the world. Yeah, might want to watch out for the wolves, there's a lot of them around. And they've quickly set about destroying the local ecosystem like humans do. You guys might want to go easy on the bison, they don't last forever. We are going to keep an eye on them for just a few years to make sure they're off to a decent start. It would be a shame if they went extinct and we let it run for 10,000 years. We have our very first empire, the realm of the Echad. They're actually expanding very far and so far haven't started a war within themselves. Also, they have unlimited resources. I know there's a lot around in the world, but humans aren't very good at dealing with that. I'm really impressed with the realm of Echad so far. They haven't lost a single person, and they've simply just expanded across the plains. And just like that, they begin multiplying. We started this on year 56 just so we keep track. I think we're also just straight up going to turn off hunger too, that way they don't need to worry about food. They can worry about making weapons and building armies. It's going to be a lot of fun to come back in thousands of years and see what kind of empires have spread across the world and what's happened to it all. It's been about 10 years, the population has jumped up to 108. The empire has not split yet, it's still just the realm of Echad. After 15 years, they've even established an army. In fact, they have 4 of them. There's literally no one else in the world to fight, but they've got 4 armies. I don't know what I've created, but I think we've got a toddler with bloodlust, so I'm really happy about things so far. I think Echad's really holding it together so far because they have an abundance of space and resources at their disposal. Can't fight over what you have a lot of. Well, now that they've conquered 20% of North America, we're just gonna skip ahead for a few thousand years and come back to who knows what. And just like that, it's been about 1500 years, and the humans have managed to take themselves to every corner of this planet. There's even 2 empires on New Zealand. They're all the way up in Northern Europe and Russia, even Greenland, although not inland, that's where the White Walkers are. It looks like the Empire of Echad is no longer here. But the population has jumped up to 28,000, we've had 850,000 deaths so far, 204,000 of which were natural, that means the other ones were murder. As for the kingdoms, the End Kingdom is the most powerful here with an army of 1606, it's 1200 years old. So it formed 300 years after the Earth started and has been going ever since. And curiously, that actually occupies most of mainland Europe and even into Russia. And it looks like there's also a giant battle going on between North and South America. There's armies currently gathering here waiting to fight. They have some very advanced stuff already, legendary adamantine armor. I'm not ashamed to say that any world that I've ever supervised never actually advanced that far. The world that I leave alone, well, these are the ones that managed to get somewhere. Even the Alaskans, he's got a wooden stick, but he's Alaskan after all, so he's doing pretty well. The empires are getting pretty advanced. This is the End Kingdom, so this is the most powerful one currently. They are even sailing enormous boats down their rivers. Their army also has adamantine gear. This one's name is Wrath. So they're all doing pretty good. They're actually thriving. There's people everywhere, resources everywhere, boats everywhere. But I think we should leave them for another 1500 years. I want to see big changes. I mean, Antarctica is divided up into 4 different empires currently, so I want some consolidation. We'll come back in thousands more years, and hopefully they're one empire. And here we are, the year 3200, another 1500 years has passed. Antarctica has divided itself into only 3 small empires, but the biggest population on the map is Holy Farm. The End Kingdom in Europe has been reduced to about 1,000 people, which is still very strong. I am surprised that after over 3,000 years, they haven't bothered to inhabit these teeny tiny islands. There's got to be something there worthwhile. Apparently, everyone really hates Holy Up. Like, the whole world, the whole continent is attacking them. And I would wager that's going to be a pretty one-sided battle. These soldiers seem a lot more armed and prepared. This guy's got legendary leather and there's a steel spear. So they don't necessarily have adamantine, but I think they're going to have the experience and just overwhelming numbers to destroy this country. The people over here are on fire for some reason, not sure how that happened. He has skin burns because burning. It is handy how they can sail their boats right up the rivers like that though, like if they want to start a fight, they can unload their soldiers right here. Their soldiers are already here, but you get the idea. Yeah, they're just going to run that right over and they're expanding the Blue Empire of Uruk. Holy Farm is the biggest and nearly the oldest. It's crazy to think that 500 years after the Earth was born, this empire started. They also have far and away the biggest army of over 2,000 people. Over half of their population is in the army. It probably also helps that their leader, Churchy, is wise, immortal, evil, golden tooth, and also crippled. But he outfits himself nicely. Look at all that gear he's got. All legendary. That's also why he has 1700 HP. Along with being immortal, that makes him pretty unstoppable. And in case you want to see his amazing armor, this is him. Behold it in all its glory. He's almost 2,000 years old as well. He's been through stuff. Total deaths so far, almost 2 million, and I had nothing to do with those. It's amazing. These guys must all be in one giant alliance, and apparently this person wasn't invited. This empire is going to get absolutely destroyed. They can send like 80,000 soldiers down here to fight whatever this army even has. It's just a hail of arrows everywhere we look. Their population is just going to decrease and decrease and decrease. One of their armies is up here, fighting off as well as they can, but they're getting decimated by this bunch of archers up here with legendary wood bows. The other continents currently are actually quite peaceful, but everyone seems to hate these guys for some reason, and I'm not sure why. Almost the entire African continent now belongs to the Blue Empire, and pretty soon the whole thing will be there. Geographically speaking, not a whole lot has changed on the landscape that I can see. It all looks more or less how we found it. There are perhaps some breaks in the mountains that may not have been there before. There's snow here. I thought after so much time had passed, maybe some of the ground had shifted due to earthquakes or meteors or anything at all. One thing we can do moving forward is turn erosion on. Anytime there's land near water, it can turn into sand and disappear into the ocean. Because obviously the world is a lot more peaceful when there's more beaches to hang out on. The very oldest kingdom is the End Kingdom, which was the biggest for a long time. Their leader has also outfitted himself very well. And I'm pretty sure any of these old kingdoms are going to have pretty much all of the knowledge by now. Their culture level is through the roof, 63. And they've been around long enough to be able to deal with some adversity. And we're going to give them plenty of that. Looks like those ambitious Greenlanders have started a war with someone. Not sure who they're fighting with or against, but that should be a fun battle of the north. There's just the tip left for these guys. They're really getting steamrolled. So the biggest army is 2,000, the second biggest army is almost 1,000, almost half the size. So naturally what we're going to do is make the strongest army fight the second strongest army on the map. Holy Fom has started a war against Great Ab. Given the size of these empires, it's not necessarily going to be a pure numbers game, given that the armies need to move a long ways to be of any use, like they get funneled into the mountains. And the quality of army and strategy will factor in somewhat. I don't think they're capable of thinking very much, but the army's always so big the game is lagging, and already the wars are beginning. This guy's got the right idea. He's just gonna stand up on the hill raining arrows on everyone like a sniper. He's got bloodlust, so he's in a good place. I'm rooting for him. Oh, the enemy has found him. Wasn't a good strategy after all. Well, he's dead. Holy Fom has just been expanding and expanding. They're up to 4,200 population. Everyone is still fighting this empire down here for some reason. We'll let that also go on. There really are some big battles going on, and it's a little bit hard to tell what's going on, because it's just a rain of arrows and soldiers getting off boats in rivers and funneling around their great armies. Like, they're all coming over here just so they can fight like this guy or something. I'm not really sure what's happening, but I think the armies are so big that the game doesn't really know what to do with this all. We started a war with Holy Fom, and it just gets stronger. They're up to 4,500 population. Oh, they're both losing a lot of soldiers though, actually. So they're breeding quicker, but their soldiers, both sides have lost half their army. And they seem to have it out for what I assume is a defense attack tower. They're really using the mountains to their advantage though. They're just parking themselves on one side and firing the arrows all the way over the mountain range. And they're firing one arrow in response. Imagine being these guys, being forced to stand here under the shadow of a mountain while they just launch arrows over top and you can't do anything about it. They've also wisely lit the ground on fire. The whole world is very flammable, so fire is probably going to spread quite quickly. And I don't know what team these guys are on or what they're doing here. They're from Holy Ravida, and they're just sort of hanging out here on the beach enjoying the sun. Holy Fom is officially going to pass 5,000 people soon, which is absolutely insane for a single empire. Ranged units on this map, and probably in general, are way overpowered. They can shoot from so far away, it's absolutely unfair. There's another war starting somewhere, Realm of the Cashews. For some reason are coming all the way over here to fight this tiny island in what would be, I think, northern Japan. Yeah, they actually took them over. I'm not entirely sure why they were interested in something on the other side of the world, but I'm not going to judge them. I think that's great. I'm hoping that Holy Fom is going to overrun Great Ab, and then it's going to be one sort of giant empire, and then they're really going to flourish. And everyone still hates Holy Oof. I don't know what happened, but like everyone, even Antarctica wants to fight them. And whatever this tiny place is, I think it's Tasmania, Great Ash. You know you screwed up when Tasmania wants to fight you. To be fair, they're still holding on, 500 population, and they were fighting everyone forever. So what's crazy is the armies of Holy Farm and Great Ab are almost equal now, and I think that might be a geography lesson. I think the defenders here were able to just rain arrows down on the invading forces, and I think that really evened the odds for them. These mountains are really funneling people around. They may have put their resources elsewhere though too. I don't really see a lot of active fighting. I think there's some armies in the neighborhood, but they're all still busy down here. And there's something pretty curious happening right now. Like everyone is fighting, the two biggest empires are fighting each other, then everyone is fighting South Africa essentially. Yet there's not a lot of actual battles happening. I don't know where all the armies are. If nobody wants to send their soldiers in and risk them, but there's not a lot of active fighting. So that's why no one's conquered this land yet, because no one's actually fighting them. They're at war, but no one wants to risk a battle. So far, the war between the mighty empires, known as the Corrupt War of Holy Fawn, we've had 3,500 total deaths, which isn't actually a lot. Father Time is obviously a lot more dangerous. Okay, to get the things rolling again, to get everyone actually fighting, we're going to give a meteor or two down here to Holy Oof. That's hopefully going to throw them off a little bit and destabilize them, then maybe the other teams will be willing to attack them. Those meteors were a little bit bigger than I remembered. But that's what you get for not getting to war. We can't sit there and wait for you to die naturally. No, there's a good bit of fire rolling through, and so they're going to have to be busy putting that out. Now we got a little bit of fighting happening again. Was it the guard towers keeping everyone away? Holy Farm up top is continuing to grow, almost 6,000 population now. North America is still split up into all sorts of different pieces. This one is roughly the USA with 1,577 people. South America is basically two different empires. Peanup and Holy Gesho. Those are about equal size, so they're sharing very nicely. And I think there's not a lot of rare ore everywhere because a lot of the people out there have bone and wood weapons, which means they're not mining a lot of good stuff anymore. The thing I'm most impressed with is Holy Oof. They've been attacked by everyone, including myself, and they're still surviving. I suspect it's a geography problem. There's a lot of rivers and empires and stuff in the way for people to actually get there. So we're going to change it up a little bit. Since Holy Farm is clearly running away with population and army size once again, we're going to cast Spite on them, and now every empire on the planet is going to want to fight them. And if I'm really feeling ambitious, I think I can actually just make all the empires manually fight, at least most of them, because I'm not going to be able to remember which ones I clicked on. But we can have pretty much everyone fight them, so it's definitely a world war. So now there should be quite a war going on. Yeah, as you can see up here, there's just wars everywhere. Although Holy Oof still is a thorn in my side because they just cannot figure out what to do with this place down here. But if they can't decide how they want to divide this up for themselves, they're going to get volcanoed. Not one, but we're going to put 3 volcanoes on this land. That way no one gets it. They had their chance to have a nice war and take it over. Now it's going to turn into lava. Our volcanoes are coming along nicely. It's probably pretty dry down there, so that fire should go ahead and spread rather quickly. Plus, it's an infinite source of fire. You can put out a fire, but you can't put out a volcano. And up here, Holy Farm is still fighting very much with Great Ab. They're just sort of endlessly hanging out. Like, I'm pretty sure these are different armies. I don't know if they're allies, but they're not really fighting. There's definitely been several kingdoms destroyed, so things are happening. It's just the small kingdoms that are rising and falling right now. The king of Ape Glove was slain by Holy Oof, which is crazy because that's this tiny little place. Now they're losing steam. The volcanoes worked. The big piles of lava are probably a pretty big hindrance for such a small country. There's so many populations on the map that the game is slowing down quite a bit. There we go. There's the battle. What I had to do was restart the game because I think it bugged out. It didn't know what to do with all these units. Now they're having a good old firefight, literally. And this is what we came here for. There's a guard tower over here, but they're fighting in the mountain passes, which makes sense because this is the natural choke point. Not sure who's winning yet. Doesn't really matter. There's a lot of fire. We'll wait till the dust settles to see what's around. Lots of villages are being destroyed and founded. Great Ab seems to have expanded a little bit. Holy Farm is getting wrecked. They might be getting attacked. Yeah, they're getting attacked by all sides here. And their army's probably down there fighting in the other places. They got a mountain range to shoot over though. That works to their benefit. The Northern Conquerors are slowly taking over. They have all of Northern, Eastern, and most of Western Europe. The End Kingdom only has 300 people left and it's huge. People are going to be all over that. There are some wars going on currently between North and South America, which is obviously a natural rivalry. But I think what would really make their wheels go round here is if we cast Spite on every kingdom. That way everyone hates everyone. Wow, the whole thing turned so red. Is it supposed to do that? Why is it all red? Everyone hates everyone. Hopefully the colors cool down because if I don't have colors, I won't be able to tell anything apart. And we're just going to fill the world with so much hate that the whole thing turns red, even Greenland. Alliance, our friendship was dissolved. Yeah, it sure was. Looks like these guys were finally destroyed after like 1,000 years of war with the whole world. There's definitely a big battle going on here. Basically, you got 3 different empires vying for this space. And the End Kingdom is soon to fall, and it's one of our very oldest empires. Been around for almost 3,000 years. And its leader is only 25 years old, so they've clearly had a replacement lately. He took over this set of armor that's 2,000 years old. So holy fam, now look at all the wars they have. You can't even count them all. Everyone is just fighting with literally everyone. Yeah, I've activated battles, so now you can see all the battles going on in the map. There's 2 there, 1 there, 1 there, 1 there, 1 there. You wouldn't notice these unless you turned this on, so I'm glad I did. Now we can see where the battles are going on. It's getting so laggy because we have 1,000,000 units fighting at any one time. This isn't so much a battle as it's just sort of a slaughter against that guy. Spoiler alert, he dead. This is good. Lots of change happening now. The world was so boring for 3,000 years. He had to come in and shake it up. The battles seem to be getting smaller in scale as well, probably because the armies are getting smaller in scale. These guys are just sitting here in the mountains raining down with their steel bows, basically bullying this city for eternity. I think Holy Fam is about to be knocked off the top of the list. There were definitely stronger empires, but they've all kind of hurt a little bit. Actually, Iraq is now the strongest with 2,500. Look at that, they still got 700 army. I think they're doing so well simply because of their location. Geographically, they're pretty much hard to attack unless you go through that little funnel, or you're the brave little empire that could down here. Look at all these battles. That makes me so happy. I'm so glad we can visualize them now. They're popping up everywhere. But even North America over here, Baffin Island is getting in. They've got a foothold in Europe and they're pushing all the way down to Antarctica. Didn't expect that fight to happen. They're literally opposite ends of the globe. There's so many fightings here in northern Canada, just like in real life. You would never notice all these little battles happening. They don't even have to be that big. As long as a few units are fighting, it's considered a battle. This is like a 4v4, one of the great wars of the world. There's a peaceful little island here. I don't know if they're actually at war with anyone. They're not. They just have a nice little Caribbean island. 54 people living in peace while the rest of the world around them fights. We can't have that at all. We'll go ahead and remove them from the battlefield. Let that be a lesson to everyone else. If you're not fighting in a war, I'm going to destroy you myself. Well, Iraq is quickly becoming the front runner. As long as they don't expand their borders, I think they're going to do quite well. They have by far the largest army right now and also plenty of population. So let's crank it up to speed 5, let the battles play out for a little bit and see how the borders change. Changes are actually happening at a moderate rate. The biggest problem is even on speed 5, the game isn't moving very quickly, probably because there's just a lot going on. Over in North America though, it's starting to consolidate into one singular empire, maybe even a few. Everyone's fighting, so I guess it's inevitable that empires will probably get bigger. Holy Fam is making a comeback. They've clearly got something good going on here. It might be quiet access to the sea for food or something. Whatever they're doing it right. I just realized the Great Ab was once one of the great powers of the world. They're suddenly up here. I'm not sure how or why they relocated. It probably wasn't by choice. They're also struggling. But I feel like everyone's had enough war for a minute. They've proved their point and proved they could all fight. Very big, strong fights. It's going to be hard to click all these, so I'm going to get most of the wars done. Whatever's left, they can figure out amongst themselves. They're adults after all. There was a war called Worldwide Obliteration. I wonder if that was the name it gave to the one for just everyone fighting. Now, most of the world is at peace again. The official winner of the world wars was Iraq. They boosted their population up to almost 3,000 and they actually were well on their way to taking over the entire world. The next problem everyone's going to have to deal with is a zombie outbreak starting in the middle of America, and it's going to affect that many people. The crazy thing is, that's probably enough to absolutely end the world. Once they start turning into zombies, they're going to start eating each other, and there they go. You see them? We got some zombies running around. They blend in a little bit. But they've either got to kill the zombies or get zombified themselves, and from here the plague starts. So far they got the... Oh, there's actually a giant down here. Cool. He's an infected giant now. I'm pretty sure when he dies, he turns into a zombie. So we're going to have a giant zombie. But the amount of soldiers there are coming in to help are probably actually working against them. More soldiers come in, they get eaten by zombies, turn into zombies, zombies spread. World population at this time of zombie plague was 19,500, we'll call it. If they were smart, every empire in the world would throw their army at this, but also put up barriers and use ranged weapons. You let the zombies get close, you got a problem. The fire might solve the zombie problem. Yeah, there's just one war going on, the Great War of the Zombies. Wow, the American country was really starting to take over there. So is the blue, actually. And Holy Farm up top. There's starting to be some great empires developing again. You can see the green zombie plague is traveling quickly, and at this point, I'm pretty sure it's just straight up out of control. I don't know if anyone's going to be able to deal with that. Emote currently has 325 soldiers left, but I think they're going to drop pretty quickly now. The zombies have started a fire. I'm not sure if they're fireproof. I'm not sure if they care if they're on fire, though. They might actually just be really good fire spreaders. If the zombies manage to get their archers away and then they can just get close to everyone else, they're going to run absolutely wild. Even like one little straggler zombie wanders away and is going to cause absolutely zombie explosions everywhere. Their army is actually still at the same population, but they're probably elsewhere right now. Like there's less soldiers actively fighting the zombies, and that's going to be pretty bad for them. What are you holding? We've got a zombie with gear on, which is interesting and problematic. Got 330 health, and he's probably actually quite quick. I didn't know zombies could have gear, but apparently they actually can. This is an immortal zombie, and there are sort of a few stragglers starting to get out to the remaining area, so like if he wanders around to bite someone here, it's just gonna explode. This is the most terrifying zombie you've ever seen. He's got all sorts of legendary gear, including armor, so he's gonna be hard to take down. It's a sword that's 1600 years old, and these idiots just handed it to a zombie. Yep, they're starting to migrate. Actually, now that I look closely, the zombies are actually down here. They're really migrating. Suddenly, they just started sprinting in all directions. They finally got smart about it. They're way down here in Texas now. So yeah, we're going to have zombies spreading in all directions. And the zombies are definitely going to be a momentum thing. The more there are on the map, the faster they're going to spread. I'm not entirely sure if they can take boats to the other side of the world. Maybe if someone gets infected, they go over here and die. We'll figure that out when the time comes. Holy Farm is definitely going big in the north. Urek is also still getting quite big. Nobody wants this part of Europe right now, probably because anyone who touches it is going to get invaded from all sides. 3,000 years of expertise, and they can't even deal with a little zombie outbreak. They also decided to start a war up here with the corner. But that might actually help the zombie plague spread. If one of these guys is infected by chance, he might bring it right up here. The faster it can spread around the map, the better it is for us. This little empire stands no chance at all. They are way too small to deal with the might of what's beside them. They have 66 army, which isn't going to be enough. Their leader fights with a memorable legendary stick. His name? I Would. I don't know if the zombies swim, but they have made it all the way down to here. So that might be the end of the road for them. The rivers might actually be a good barrier to stop them. I know that the king has abandoned the entire place. I guess he's had enough of the zombies. He just left. These zombies have made it to the other side of the river. They're headed south. Not sure how they got there. Oh, I guess they probably could have walked over this. And remember that island we nuked earlier? Someone wanted to set up an empire in the wasteland around it. There's other islands full of trees and food, but they wanted this one. And the zombie horde is just getting bigger and bigger down here, so it's going to be hard for anyone to bust through this. They're going to make their way to South America in no time. The Omote Empire is definitely faltering. Another empire has popped up in the east, but they're also going to have the zombie problem. So far, they're actually respecting the international boundaries, though. I guess there is a river in the way, and they're just raining arrows down from the other side, so they're going to have trouble passing that. They're going to have to go north. But the world population has dropped to 23,000, so the numbers are dwindling fast. I do feel it's a little bit unfair that we've only given the western side of the world a problem to deal with. I think we should try some corrupted brain. Make creatures plunge into madness. There seems to be a pretty big army here, so let's plunge them into madness and see what happens. It's a little hard to say what's going on. I think they're just fighting everything. I think that just strips their allegiance to whatever they are, and then they start attacking everything around them. So there's going to be a little bit of madness in the center of whatever this is. This side of the world is also going to get a disease outbreak, just to be fair, because I feel like the disease can spread. And the world is densely populated, I feel like that's going to be bad. But on the plus side, maybe the plague spreads and kills everyone before the zombies do. Then I think aside from that, we're going to drop a few worms somewhere right here in the center, and maybe a few dragons while we're at it, just to make sure we're really kickstarting the apocalypse. Yeah, we don't want to forget about Antarctica, though. They're going to get some biomass. Not entirely sure what it is, but I bet they're not going to enjoy it very much. It ate whatever that is, and it's spreading. They are making an effort to fight it, so they're not that stupid. My biomass, does it come back? There's still goo on the ground. Do they need to fight it all? When in doubt, 3 biomass. Now they can try and deal with that all. Now we need to check a little bit on the production of the other things. The dragon is over here, I think destroying Greece. That's historically accurate. I have no idea where the worms and other dragons went, but that's the world's problem. They destroyed my madness trees. It looks like they finally got to them, but that's fine. We've got kings abandoning places because the world is getting awfully chaotic. Oh, this is new. There's like I think that was from one of the worms. Made like a sand thing off of Ireland. With the world this big with this much population, it's actually kind of hard to destroy it. I've never tried with the world this big, but even the zombies are, they're still doing their thing, but it's not as quick as it normally is. They made their way all the way down to here. Obviously the windmill is about the edge of the zombie front. The massive armies probably actually managed to defeat the dragons fairly quickly, then they put out the fires. They are very advanced civilizations after all. Hey, look at that, the UK is reformed as a real living, breathing place in Siberia that apparently the whole world wants to fight as well. Never mind, they're gone. Maybe we should drop a crab bomb somewhere. It's rave time. I think Australia wants a crab bomb. Okay, they're dropping in there and they're spreading out. Okay, it's like a fire carpet bomb. Australia's on fire. They should be able to put that out fairly quickly though. Again, they are a fairly advanced civilization. The Great Plague. Over 1,000 people have been infected with the plague. I didn't realize that was still going. The best part is I don't really remember where I dropped it. I don't know if there's an easy way to see where the plague is, but as long as it's out there doing its thing, we don't really need to see it. Urek is over 5,000 people again. So what that means is they're going to need a giant crab to help them out. And the crab is what I control, and it's a crab with laser beams. We'll go straight for their king to send a message. It feels like this thing isn't moving very fast, but this world is just absolutely enormous. So if we zoom out, we'll see the king. I think he's in this house. Hi, is the king here? I'd like to have a word with him. I think I see him. I think I just trampled him. These guys want to fight. I'm going to destroy an entire army. Yeah, when you want to get stuff done, you bring in the crab. Look at all those guys. Oh, there's some boats over here. Let's go get those too. This is fun. I've never really used the crab very much. But this crab really would single-handedly destroy the entire world in a pretty big hurry. It needs to move this a little bit quicker, respectively, for the size of the world. But when the world's this big, there's not really a quick way to destroy it. Oh, when you leave crab mode, it has an enormous nuclear explosion. So they'll be putting that fire out for a while. But I think we all know the quickest way to destroy something is just to spam giant nuclear bombs over everywhere we can see. We've dropped a bomb on Australia. We're going to drop a few more. It's only going to take a few of these to really wipe out the entire world. That's the beauty of these. It's a much quicker way of doing it. The game is also loving this. So if we just kind of bomb everywhere roughly there's population, before you know it, they'll have to rebuild. Or they'll all be dead and irradiated. Whatever the case, we're going to have a good day. The sandworm is still playing over here in the Atlantic Ocean. There's my bombs falling over there. We'll drop a few bombs over here, sprinkle them in up here. I kind of lost track of where I was dropping them, but that's okay. We'll see momentarily what's left after this. Kind of like the lottery, but backwards. So far, that is absolutely wrecking the world. Let's check our population, down to 8,000, 6,000. This is fun. The game just about gave up on me there, but it held strong. Now maybe we should let these guys go for like 3,000-5,000 years and see what they turn the world into now that we've sort of rearranged it in our likeness.